So Rose, it's all you. Rose Wynn, I'm Director of Career Services, FPU.
Great. Thank you, Professor Weidman, for allowing me to share with your class today. I'm excited to share about career planning and personal wellness, as there's a tremendous volume of time and energy that we invest in our careers over time. So career planning comprises a huge component of your wellness, as planning ahead and strategizing your career will help you to ensure optimal quality of life over your lifetime. So let's take a look at what topics we'll be covering today. And bear with me, I'm trying to keep the screen as big as possible for you in this funny setup. So some of the things that we'll be talking about include the benefits of career planning early on, whether or not you have an idea of where you're headed in your career now. There is still a good amount of planning that can help you to take a giant stride forward post-graduation and stage set so that your steps early on in your career allow you to continue taking big strides forward as you advance and grow. We'll talk about how academic and career planning are related, offer several strategies and many resources to support your effectiveness in research and planning, and your overall personal wellness. So when planning your education and career, there are consider, right? Thinking through and researching your options can sometimes feel overwhelming or like something you want to put off perhaps towards the very last semester of your undergraduate education. However, engaging in pieces, a small step at a time, can help to reduce your anxiety that you may have in the process and also make it much smoother and cohesive so that, again, you're really able to take some significant strides forward in your career. Choosing a career can sometimes feel like making your whole life plan now, but at this time in life, you may just be starting to learn more about yourself, your passions, your inherent strengths and skills, and understanding your role in the world and what you want to do with your career, what kind of purpose you want to fulfill through your work. So have no fear. You don't have to pigeon yourself into a career path now. You may later find that what you're choosing now can be more or less satisfactory than what you anticipated when you begin working in that type of role. A good part about our modern world is that it is exceptionally complex, and that complexity actually offers a huge measure of opportunity to adjust your career path throughout your life. So the more that you invest in understanding yourself and researching your options now, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions and informed adjustments throughout your career path. So just a quick note to reinforce the importance of career planning. We do invest a ton of time in our work, and a conservative estimate shown here with these figures on the screen results in about 100,000 hours of working time over the course of your lifetime. The likelihood is it's probably much more than 100,000 hours that we invest in our work, as this is taking into account, 10 hours a day. You might spend that much time at work, or more if you're factoring in your time to prep for work, commute to work, research and study outside of work, etc. And 40 years is also a conservative estimate for a lifetime of a career. That's looking at working from maybe 20 to 60 years old, or 25 to 65 if you are doing full-time work post-graduate degree. Many folks now work well into their 70s. And you may in fact have parents or grandparents who are also still working and investing in their careers now. So for our lifetimes, as our lifespans increase with great healthcare and great lifestyles that we get to enjoy in a first world nation, our world of work may last indeed well over 40 years. So we want to ensure that we've got great quality of life and great alignment of passion and purpose throughout those years. So with that, we want to make sure that we're picking a job that doesn't just provide an income, that we're picking a career path that we don't feel we need to escape from when vacation time comes. Every career field offers a broad range of specialty in which you can focus your work. So you may choose a general direction that you want to go to now, and then discover over time areas to specialize in or become a true master in. So again, that will help you to navigate your career path and make informed decisions as you advance in your career. So trust that process. If you're confident where you're going now, or if you feel like you have no idea, either way, talk with a career counselor, as they can provide a ton of career resources and strategies to help you, again, map out your potential pathway and start making informed choices from the outset. A few facts that might help to encourage you if you've thought about changing your major or changing your career path within your major of focus is that a huge percentage of students do. In fact, STEM majors have the highest percentage of major switches over their early years in their collegiate journey. And even among non-STEM majors, 29% year over year is the latest figure, is a pretty high percentage of folks who change their major. Most students do change their major at least once before graduation, and many students who feel uncertain and then make a change end up graduating with a greater feeling of certainty and confidence in the ultimate direction that they chose. So if you've thought about changing your major, which is tied to your career path, explore that. If you're having questions now is a great time to start looking for information that can either reinforce the major that you chose or confirm that you may want to look at something different before graduation. We'll be looking at how major selection and career planning are tied as we move on through this. So thinking about some of the myths surrounding major selection and career selection, you can really interchange the word major with career as we're looking at myths and facts surrounding each of them. One of the myths that's often told is that the best way to learn about a career or a major is to take a class related to it. And certainly you can learn a lot of valuable information about a specific field through a class. But I would caution that that's a rather costly way to learn about a field, as the time and money that you'll invest in a class will give you a snapshot, a snippet of information that may not truly equip you to make an informed choice about whether or not to change your major or your career direction. Another myth is that picking a major or a career is the same thing. And in fact, it could not be further from the truth. You can do a huge variety of professional work stemming from whatever major you select. So if you have selected a major and then are feeling that you might want to be making some adjustments in your long-term career path planning, it's probably likely that you can do that easily with or without a change of major. So if you're considering a different pathway in your career, then again, now's a great time to start exploring those options. The major you pick now does not determine your lifelong career, especially as we have a very complex job market to step into. And choosing one major does not mean you have to give up other dreams. There's a lot of ways to combine full-time work with side jobs or freelance work, or be able to be involved in community service, volunteer work, and other forms of community involvement that provide great meaning in how you utilize your skill set to give back to the world. So in contrast, let's look at some of the facts. We'll actually, here we go, get to some facts about career planning. Apologies. Skipping through this is a little bit different in this format. The common reasons students choose a specific career often are financial based. In the Career Center and through research that we see from throughout the country, oftentimes most major and career selections are monetarily driven. Them to do, maybe a dream that was instilled young in life, or from family members who have great influence in how you've shaped your dreams over time. Another big reason students choose a particular major or career pathway is that it feels impressive. The titles or the type of work involved in that career pathway feel quite elite, or as a great way to have prestige in your career. Others look for careers that offer a lot of vacation time, seeking to minimize the amount of time at work versus the amount of time for leisure, or picking a career pathway that feels easy and easy to do. None of those things are necessarily bad, but if those are your primary drivers in choosing your career path, then you might want to give it a little bit more thought and really think about whether or not you would achieve the level of personal satisfaction and ability to really give of yourself through your work by pursuing something that has this kind of driver at its core. That leads us to benefits of researching career options. Research allows you to develop your academic and your career plan because while your major doesn't absolutely determine what you will do with your career, you can influence your career path tremendously by being very strategic in how you shape your educational pathway. Looking at the range of careers within a profession is also an important part of research because, like I mentioned earlier, there's a broad range of options within every career field. You can pivot and change both laterally and vertically as you're moving along in your career path. Early research also improves your motivation. If you're making informed choices now, you'll likely be optimally invested and feeling good about the goals you're moving towards and better able to motivate yourself to fulfill the steps necessary to reach those goals. It gives meaning to your education. And one of the most important things in today's climate is it saves you a lot of time and money. I know you're all making a huge investment of your time and resources into your education. And so we want to see you maximize those, not only during your undergraduate education at FPU, but also in whatever steps you may pursue post-graduation. If that might include a graduate degree, specialized training, certification courses, all of those things have additional elements of cost. And so you can maximize your investment by doing this research now. So we advise and caution against choosing a career based on any of the factors shown here. Again, aligning your passion with your purpose, making wise investment of your time and finances, and really pairing your purpose in which you want to give of your skills and strengths through your work are the best means to find a very satisfying and meaningful career path. So how do you get there? There's 3 steps that we recommend to identify a fulfilling career pathway. Step 1 is absolutely knowing yourself, taking time to understand your values, identify your skill sets, value your strengths, and see how those integrate into the career pathway that you're designing for your future is the foundational step. Then exploring career options and looking at ways that you can exercise your strengths, your values, and your skills within your work is the second step. And then ultimately making a decision, which again is a decision at a point in time, giving yourself knowledge that you'll be able to flex and adjust over time as you identify opportunities and doors open for you further on in your career path. Thinking about step 1 through self-exploration, you want to take a look at your interests, skills, abilities, and values and personality. If you have not yet done a career assessment, we strongly encourage you to do so before you graduate. There's some excellent resources through career assessment exploration that are available to you for free through the Career Center at Fresno Pacific University. If you completed CP152 early on in your program from year 2019 or 2020, then you probably did the strong interest inventory as a required assignment. And that is one of the foundational career assessments that we recommend through the Career Center. So if you did the strong interest inventory through that class, you've already had a chance to really dive into your exploration in these areas through that assessment. If you haven't, please connect with our Career Center as we can offer that to you for free. And by investing, a couple hours of your time into that assessment and reviewing the results, you can gain a great deal of knowledge and confidence in both your education and career planning as it relates to your self-exploration. There's a number of other tools that we can offer through the Career Center for this self-exploration process as well, but the strong interest inventory is the one that we recommend primarily to see what you're interested in, what you excel at, what's important to you in your life and your career. Moving from exploration into self-exploration into career exploration, you want to start looking at what exists as options now in the world of work, as well as what are emerging fields that are developing in the world of work, because we do live in a technology-driven, globally integrated, complex job market. There's tons of opportunity out there, and some things that you may have as ideas for options now could be phasing out in our economy. And there are new opportunities that may be emerging that you're not even aware of yet. So taking time to explore those things and be informed on the landscape of the world of work is a really important part of your exploration. You can do that through informational interviews, which is one of the key resources that we offer through the Career Center for this area of your development. And informational interviewing is really interesting, and it allows you to connect with professionals who are currently working in fields that you aspire to learn more from them about how they got into that role, what were their passions and drivers that informed their choices to pursue that line of work, what they love about their work, what they don't love about their work, what the real day looks like in that kind of field. There's a lot of research you can gain from the internet and from sources that tell you about a certain field, but there are always things that you'll discover from somebody who's actually walking in those shoes that you may or may not be able to discover through raw research alone. So we strongly urge students to engage in informational interviews, and as a Career Center, one of the services that we offer is connecting you with alumni and professionals in the field who are in roles that you aspire to. So if you've not yet done any informational interviews, we urge you to consider that and hope to make it a very easy process for you, very time effective and efficient to do so through the resources that we offer. Additional ways that you can explore career pathways include job shadowing, which is kind of similar to informational interviewing, and we can talk about that more if you're interested in that. And of course, attending career fairs and doing internships to get experience in a specific area, hands-on, are other excellent ways to explore. As we look at decision-making, stepping from point 1 to 2 to 3, informed decision-making allows you to narrow your options and really take a wide range of information that you have access to and whittle it down to what does that mean for you personally, because your career pathway decisions are going to be necessarily different from your classmates, your friends, your colleagues, and people who are studying and pursuing the exact same things as you. Your career pathway will still be unique, and so narrowing your options is part of that process in your decision-making. Your decision-making also allows you to link your major to your career options in meaningful and robust ways, again, so that you really understand the landscape of options before you, and to thoroughly evaluate your graduate school and advanced training needs. For most fields, since education is increasingly accessible at the post-high school level, the competition among college grads is much higher now than it was even just a decade ago, and probably that competition will continue to increase. So graduate school, advanced training, licensure, and certification are all things that you likely will need to consider if you're looking at means to advance in your career pathway over time. So decision-making now will set you up for success and allow you to establish a plan of action so you can have a really great idea about the timing and the resources that you'll need to navigate that pathway. Perhaps you take some time between your undergraduate education and going to grad school to earn money and save up to pay for your graduate school. Perhaps you look at options that offer programs to pay for graduate education through the work that you would do in field. If you're going into teaching, into service, public service in any way, shape, or form, and even into specialized fields like the medical industry or different niches within the technology industry. There's a ton of programs that actually offer payment to cover your tuition at the graduate school level and to pay for certifications and licensure. So if you're considering postgraduate training or education, We really urge you to explore those options and make strategic decisions in how you'll fund and time your next steps. So some questions you'll want to ask yourself include those shown here. Again, I can't underemphasize or overemphasize the value of connecting with a career counselor, as the folks that are working at FPU are really employed for your benefit and offer all of that time and expertise for free. So you can really streamline and build efficiency in your career planning by accessing a career counselor who has a ton of this information at their fingertips and ready to share with you. But you'll want to be asking yourself these questions and or taking these questions to a meeting with a career counselor so that you can identify all the information you'll need to make a truly informed decision set now, as well as you navigate your career pathway over time. With connection to a career counselor, I'll plug now also that career counseling, career resources are a free lifelong resource for all alumni. So if you do or don't connect with a career counselor now, in 1 year, 2 years, 10 years post-graduate, questions as you're looking at options before you in your career pathway, you're always welcome to connect back to FPU and leverage that resource. The investment you're making now is really an investment that gives you return over your lifetime at FPU. Here are some of the services that we offer. There's many more, but these are some of the primary ones. I've bolded and put in italics 3 of the things that may be most meaningful for you as you're looking at your career planning and ways to ensure your personal wellness in your career pathway over time. We talked about a career assessment. We talked about informational interviewing. Another strategy you may consider leveraging is micro internships, which are basically project-based work and freelance work that allows you to earn money while building and solidifying your skill set. So if you'd like to connect with options for micro internships to do those things, we have channels to do so through the Career Center. All the other options shown here are things that we kind of touched on here and there through our time together, but they're accessible to you now and again, anytime pre and post graduation over your lifetime as an alumni of FPU. To recap, here are the key resources we recommend you engage in. Again, contact our office, check out our website. We have our website shown here on the screen, and I'll adjust my notes here so you can fully see it. We have a ton of self-service tools available to you as well. So if you don't feel like you have time right now to connect with a career counselor, you can also check out our website and access a ton of information and resources at your fingertips 24/7. So if you're the kind of person that thinks about your career planning at 2 a.m., there's stuff available to you at 2 a.m. online. Here's all of our contact info. We encourage you to get in touch with us. And that really wraps up the summary of information sharing that we had wanted to be able to share with you today. And I'd love to answer questions or talk about some of the specifics that you may have in mind in relationship to your education and career planning and personal wellness. So feel free to unmute or type in questions in the chat box if you have anything that you'd like to discuss further.
Rose, are you seeing, excuse me, are you seeing most of the graduates are moving on and finding something after they do walk across the stage? Are they having any trouble, any issues with getting that first job?
We are seeing great success. I will say Fresno Pacific, one of the things I love about working at Fresno Pacific is that we do have a very strong track record of postgraduate employment success. I will say there is a caveat to that, that students who delay their job search in full and taking some of the preparatory steps like career research, resume and cover letter development, and really forming their personal job search strategy. If that's delayed until your last semester pre-graduation or even post-graduation, you'll probably have more struggle and challenges in securing employment quickly or making it a big step forward that's meaningful to carry on your education to career post-graduation. So we really strongly urge students to be thinking about these things as early on as possible, informing your plan, doing your preparatory work. Again, just a bite at a time. If you do one step at a time each semester, you'll be well positioned to take that big stride forward post-graduation. But in general, I say yes, success is there. The timing it takes to reach it can vary depending on the amount of preparation a student has at their point of graduation.
I think a great bonus that you guys offer is that even after we graduate, you're still there to offer your services and help with updating resumes and helping them find that better job that they're looking for. There's one thing to keep in mind is that baby boomers, those that were born between 1946 and 1964, half of them have already retired, and the other half will be retiring in the next 3 to 5, maybe 6 or 7 years. So that's something to think about as you guys are looking at the medical field, education, whether it be elementary, secondary. So some things to think about and do some research. What are these, careers, what areas are heavy in this age group that you guys can look at and pursue a career that might help you get what you want to get, where you want to go.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of the emerging fields that are shown as high growth for college grads now represent those where large numbers of boomers are retiring. And so there's another resource I didn't mention specifically earlier, but it's called ONET, and I'll type it in the chat box for anybody that wants to check it out. ONET Online gives you a picture of jobs that are tied, or job titles that are tied to a specific major, and then we'll flag those that are emerging, growing fields. And so if you wanted to quickly just get an idea what kind of job titles are projected to have strong growth over the next 10 to 15 years, ONET Online can get that information really quickly.
Great. Any questions? Anybody have comments? Okay, well then we'll wrap it up. Rose, thank you so much for giving your time today. A lot of good things to think about. I encourage everyone to utilize their office between now and graduation, sooner than later, preferably.
Yeah, great to chat with you all. Thank you for the opportunity, Professor Rabin.
All right, thank you. All right, guys. I sent out in the forum, I believe it's the forum, that send me 2 to 3 key things that you guys got out of today's guest speaker. And you get 5 points extra credit. So get that to me, and I'll see you guys on Friday, and we'll watch a couple videos, and there'll be some reflection questions. Probably won't be there but half the time, but still want to get some information into your brains. So see you guys on Friday. It's so nice to see your faces sometimes rather than black blank. Bianca, where's your cat?
Somewhere running around, probably.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good day.